What's up, YouTubers? Yesterday, I had one of the best days that I have had this year because I was able to save one of my clients thousands of dollars for 2023 by showing them how they can switch to Microsoft Bookings and replace it for Clio Grow. I'm going to show you all around Microsoft Bookings. We're going to create a service page. You're going to learn how to create that service page for your business. And then when you're done, you're going to be able to insert links to book consultations faster and at a lower cost. Add this call to action everywhere. We're going to take a deep dive into Microsoft Bookings today, and this might ruffle a few feathers from Clio. All right, let's dive into things today. Okay, so here we are in the Microsoft Bookings app. Now, if you click the waffle on the top left and got to Microsoft Bookings, you might not see anything on your page because you haven't created any of those booking pages yet. I have, and so that's why you see several on my page. Let's click Create right over here in the top right portion and create a new bookings page. Click Create. And we're going to create from scratch. We're not going to clone any of my existing ones. We're going to create this from scratch. Give your shared booking page a name. Now, this name is going to be accessible in your admin center. If you need to change it, you can change it. But use, perhaps your business title or something that aligns with your membership community, your practice, your business, what you're doing. So I have already an Arrow consultant. So let's just create one for my other product, my other website, which is Arrow 365. So we'll do Arrow 365. And I already have an Arrow 365 trainings. So we'll just do Arrow 365 consulting, something like that. But you can also add your logo. So if you click add logo over here, you can navigate to where your logo is. And so I'll just go ahead and quickly navigate to mine just so you can see what this looks like. Standard. And we'll just add this black and white one right here. So that is what it looks like to bring in that. So we're going to add that logo and it's going to add it to that bookings page. So business type, you're welcome to put something in here if you want to, but you're not required to put anything in here. You can just put other, completely up to you. Business hours, change this and only allow people to see the business hours you want them. So I had a client recently who said, we only do consultations, those free 30-minute consultations on Mondays between this time and this time. So this is your opportunity to narrow the scope of that. If you don't have that sort of limitation and you want to have people book with you anytime, I would take off Sunday. I would take off Saturday. That's just my preference. I don't get in the office until, 8:30, but maybe I don't want my conferences to start until 9:30. I get off around 5. I'm probably going to leave the office closer to around 6, but so I can leave the office at 6. Maybe I want to end those free consultations at 4. So I am minimizing the allotted date and time range for these free consultations. All right, go ahead and click next. Once you click next, then that's where you can invite more people into your bookings page. Now, you can go ahead and do them here, but once you create the bookings page, you'll have an opportunity to invite them there as well. Just like when we create SharePoint sites, I always tell my clients that you want to invite people into a finished product. So I'm not going to invite any staff now. You can click next. It's asking me to go ahead and set up the service. The service that it's offering right now it's just the 30 minutes meeting. And I can change that. I can change what that service says. So we're just going to do the duration for that is going to be 30 minutes. It's offered on these days. It's offered during this time range, and I can make this a Teams meeting. And since Teams is my local conferencing center, it's my mechanism that I use for that. I do not use Zoom. I do want to go ahead and check this. So click Update Service. So it's going to put that right there in the update. And now we're going to dictate who can book these appointments. Right now, the default is set probably people in my organization. That's probably what it's going to look like for you on your screen. You don't want to choose no self-service because that defeats the whole purpose of why you're creating this. So anyone can book this link. So what you're inevitably going to do is you're going to embed this information into your website so that when people are clicking on that link, they're going directly to the calendar that you're wanting them to see. So click create, it's going to set up that bookings page for you, and then it's going to provide you with additional options that you have for setting up some additional amenities, if you will, on that bookings page. If you're interested in learning more information just like this and diving deep into all of the Microsoft 365 applications and knowing exactly what they can do for you and your business, your law practice, your freelance paralegal business, I'm here for you. So if you want to empower yourself as a user, then I definitely want you to check out the description box below and opt in to a new Microsoft 365 community that is coming just for you legal professionals. All right, let's get back to it. Let's go ahead and click Get Started. If you want to see what the bookings page looks like at any point for your potential client, head over here to the booking page right here on the left-hand side of your screen and click this link right here. This is going to take you to what that page looks like for your potential clients, people trying to book with you. So that logo that I imported, that's right up here. This is the name that I provided this group. This is the singular service that I have for this group right now. We have select staff. I don't believe there's anyone in there but me. Yes, so you would click me and then a date and time that I am available, which it says tomorrow at 3:30, and then add some more details in there. And this is all that we're going to continue to customize back on that bookings page. So I'm going to get rid of this tab and I'm going to head back over to that bookings page. All right, so there are a few things that I want you to check out on this booking page. Let's stay on this booking page since we're already on here. So going down to business page access controls, let's extend this and take a look at what we have here. All right, so manage your booking page. I don't click either one of these. Disable direct search engine indexing of booking page, require a one-time password to create bookings. Let's make the process easier for people. So I don't check either one of these things. Customer data, usage, consent. I mean, all of these are just fancy items. Default scheduling policy. I do obviously have a default scheduling policy. Now, this is something that you can set now, and it will be set for every single one of the service pages that you set up, which we're going to dive into a little bit later. But time increments, all of my free consultations are set up for 30-minute increments, and that's probably most of the service pages I'm going to prepare in here as well. Lead time up to that appointment is 24 hours. That gives me enough time to prepare for that appointment if I need to. But if you have an intake that you need people to fill out well ahead of their appointment, you may want to give this like 48 hours, 72 hours, enough notice, enough advance for them to be able to fill out that intake information. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Maximum lead time is they can book on your schedule up to a year out. So you might want to minimize that, but 365 is my default. Email notifications is notify the business via email when a booking is created or changed. So I definitely have that click because I want the notifications occurring. Send a meeting invite to the customer, completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and check this just because it's that convenience thing. Clients like convenience, potential clients like convenience. So go ahead and send a meeting invite to the customer as well. Staff controls allow customers to choose a specific person for the booking. I actually take that off. The reason why is because actually it all defers to me anyway. All of the people meet with me anyway. But if you're someone who has several attorneys in your organization or several staff members, and you have a paralegal service and you have several people in your organization, then people may need to meet with those that you pair, with them or first available versus them choosing who they're going to want to meet with. Completely up to you. I check this off, but you may want to allow customers that sort of freedom? And if so, you want to go ahead and check that. If you have a law firm, for instance, that has 3 different practice areas. You know, you got a medical malpractice here. You got business disputes here. You got trademark and patent here. Then, you know, those people will definitely have different, you know, service pages likely, but, you know, you may want to just have one service page and determine who meets with who and give your potential client that sort of freedom and so that's what that box is for. General availability is a bookable when staff is free, and that's what I have selected there. Customize your page. So this is where you can just get a little fancy if you want. You know, I can make it default to purple. I think it defaulted to gray. I can make it one of these teal colors or red, completely up to you. You can set a custom color on that page too. So if you have a custom color for your logo, then you can go ahead and set that in here. And you do want to display your business logo. So that just, you know, customizes that page to you. Region and time zone. Let's extend this area out here. So this is set to Central Time Zone, but if it's not set to your particular time zone, you can actually search for a city in here, type your city, and it will default to that time zone for you. The last part here is always show time slot business time zone. So this means that the time zone will always show in our time zone, and the person who is making the booking will have to conform to their time zone in the event they are in another time. If you don't have that issue, then you don't have that issue. So I go ahead and I do not check that box. I want it to conform to their time schedule. And if I need to do the math, then I'll do the math. So save this with those changes as soon as you are done by clicking the save button. Customers, these are customers that book on that potential bookings page for you. Staff is where you invite staff members, you know, so they are connected to this calendar, and when appointments are set, they can determine who that potential client is meeting with, you know, you, the person who is creating this, or if you have it open for your client, then they can determine that, and it will track all that information right in here. Services is where you can add new services. So we set the default services in that booking page, and you can add a new service, call it whatever you want. You can make it a one-on-one service. You can make it a group service. It connects to your Outlook calendar and does all the really cool, fancy things. Business information, we already filled out that information. I'm not going to worry about integrations right now because there aren't that many of them. So I do want to go ahead and click Edit Service when I'm in the services page for the 30-minute consultation, because there are some additional items I do want to touch on. So let's click Edit there. So this is where you can assign the staff to this particular service. You can add the staff in right here to the full page, but this is where you assign those particular staff members who have access to this service page right here. Custom fields, these are the custom fields that are on the booking page form. Right now, I am requiring an email address. I'm going to require a phone number. Maybe I'm going to require an address, and you can require customer notes. However, instead of asking for customer notes and just giving them a sort of no holds bar text field, add a custom field. If you're like an injury firm, for instance, if you're doing personal injury or workers' compensation, do a text question and say, so please provide more detail about the injury and how it occurred. So I'm going to save change, and I'm going to select this and say that, yeah, it's required. I need more detail about it right here. So I can add that as a custom field instead of doing customer notes. Let's go ahead and click another one.
And instead of a text question, I can do a drop-down question, and I can say, how did you hear about us? Add an option, internet search, say Google, etc. I will say referral, I will say drove by, paper ad, or we can do like other.
All right, so those are the options there that we can do. I actually want to save changes, and I'm not going to require this one, but in terms of this one right here, I do want to move it up because it is required, and have this one down here because it's not required. So I'm going to save that change. All right. So save changes, and that's going to be part of the questions that are asked for that particular service. Let's go back in here. I do want to change one more thing. Notifications. This is really cool. Now, enable text messaging notifications for your customer. Make sure that you are following all laws there. But starting February 1st, 2023, this is going to be a Teams Premium license feature only. So if you are not a Teams Premium license holder, then you can't use this as an option going forward. All right, email confirmation, notify the business, send a meeting invite to the customer. We set those on the booking page defaults. Add additional information. No thanks, not at this time, but email reminders. Yes, please. Send your people email reminders if they've got a consultation coming up with you. Determine the timing and when you want to send that. I'm going to say like 3 days before it's going to send it to the customer. Hello.
Just a reminder that you have an appointment, or let's say consultation coming up in a few days. Please let know if you need to reschedule. Thank you, and have a nice day.
You can do something like that. Now, you do have a link button right here. So if you have a Microsoft form that you're using as a template intake and you want them to fill out that information, then add that information right here into the email reminder and insert it as a link so that it gets sent to them, and off to the races they go. So I'm going to save changes right here. This is going to send it to the customer 3 days before the event. And email follow-up. Oftentimes, especially when we're doing intakes and injury cases and we do a consult, maybe it's a med mal case and they have no records yet. We had sent a follow-up email to that potential contact and arm them with the resources they need to request the records under the HITECH Act. Help them help you. Request those records, get those records to you so you can properly investigate their med mal case and determine whether or not you want to take it. Just ballparking that there for an example, because that's part of the reason why I use it. But email follow-up, even when I'm doing coaching sessions with people, I'm doing training sessions with people, I have an email follow-up. There's actually a hyperlink to a Microsoft form for feedback so I can collect testimonials, collect feedback, and figure out what I can do to help you better should I need to. So we're going to do a follow-up, determine the timing on that follow-up. I'm going to say 30 minutes after. I want to have this sent out while this is fresh on my potential client or customer's mind. And by the way, you can send this to staff and say, hey, this took place on this event, and we're just sending you a notification of this, or all attendees. So it's sending it to your potential customers and it's sending it to the person who is actually going to conduct this meeting. Could be incredibly useful, reminding people that they have this coming up. So,
hello, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. If I can be of assistance in the future, please do not hesitate to contact me.
Okay, and I can insert all sorts of information in there. I can insert a hyperlink to a feedback form to collect some more information about the meeting, collect a testimonial or whatever I need to for that purpose. But let me save that. Save changes and save changes. That's really efficient. If you don't set something up like this and you fail to send a follow-up email when a follow-up email is needed, then potentially you're not going to get that potential client. So you definitely want to have something like this set up in advance. Now let's look to see how this looks for the potential client. Let's go over to this bookings page. Let's click this hyperlink here, and this is what it looks like. So this is a 30-minute free consultation. Staff member, Misty Murray, that's the only one available. That's the only one we have in there right now. This is when I am free. We'll say at 3:30. It's asking for my name, email address, phone number, notes, add any special requests, and also to please provide me more detail about your injury and how it occurred. So this notes section right now is optional. We didn't require that. However, we require that they fill out this information right here. So let's go back in to this booking page right here. We're going to click edit service. This is that basic service that we provided. It says we're going to add an online meeting link, and we can choose to send an anonymous meeting link to the customers. So it's not always the same link each time. It gives an anonymous link, it sends it out, and it's different each time. So it's more secure, basically. The duration of that meeting is 30 minutes because that was my default, but I can also choose whether or not I want a buffer time. So, maybe 30 minutes after, there's a buffer time in between for that. 30 minutes in between gives me sort of this calm down time before I got to go on to the next one. Price, not set. So you can say that it's free, you can say it's hourly, fixed price, starting at, price varies, but here's the thing, regardless if it is a paid consultation, Microsoft is not going to collect that for you. So you do need to have another mechanism in place that if it is a paid consultation, then you are able to have a workflow set up so that somebody on your team is responsible for preparing that invoice, getting it off to that person so they can be paid well ahead of the consultation. So having said that, you definitely need to give yourself some of that time in advance notice for that consultation. If that person does need to sign anything, if they need to pay for an invoice for that consultation, then I would advise you to do like 45, 72 hours, heck, even a week, notice time to have and allow enough time to do those things prior to the consultation taking place. So not saying that you can't say that it's a paid consultation, just saying that Microsoft Bookings is not going to collect that consultation fee for you. All right. So this is where you can add notes about the service that only you and your staff can see, completely up to you. Maximum number of attendees is 1 attendee. That's my default policy, 1 attendee. If you want to allow for multiple attendees, you don't do it right here on this page. But the other thing to note is let customers manage their appointment when it is booked by you or a staff member on their behalf. Completely up to you whether or not you want to give your customer the freedom to be able to do that, or if you're going to require them to reach out to you so that you have more control over that. Completely up to you. You can give a further description up here about the 30-minute free consultation. I'm not giving a further description here because it's pretty much self-explanatory. Available options, we set all of these things in the bookings page, so we really don't need to do anything further here. Assign that staff, allow customers to choose a particular staff for booking, toggle that off. If you don't want them to choose that, it's automatically going to go to me as the staff member here. I'm going to go ahead and save that change. Let's head over to the bookings page. And there we go. As you can see, you can embed the call of action for the Microsoft Bookings page that we just created. Embed that into your Instagram profile. Embed that as a button on your website. Embed that into your LinkedIn profile. Embed that as a call to action on your signature block in your website bio or on your email. Embed it as a button on your Facebook business page or your Facebook profile and get people to book those consultations with you faster. Make it super convenient. It's going to cost you much less than what Clio Grow will, and it will basically do all the same things for you. If you are ready to level up your knowledge in Microsoft 365 as a legal professional, then I want you to check out the description box below. I offer a masterclass. I'm about to launch a Microsoft 365 like Authority Accelerator or Academy or something along those lines where we come together as a legal community at least twice a month and talk about the applications and how we can execute them on a day-to-day basis. Move the needle forward in our cases, move the needle forward in our businesses, but with a lower financial footprint. I'm going to teach you how to get off of that third-party hamster wheel that is just depleting your finances. All right, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it if you care, and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell notification to receive more notifications about content just like this. All right, good luck to you and all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs a super savvy technology legal professional just like you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Have an awesome weekend ahead of you. And I will see you guys back here on the next one. Mwah! Bye, guys.